Díomh a chuirde. Good afternoon, Notre Dame. Good evening, Kyle. My name is Ruan Cook. I teach French in the School of Languages, Literatures and Cultures at NUI Galway, a university whose main campus is located in the city of Galway, but whose natural hinterland is not just the province of Connacht, but also the entire western seaboard. Unfortunately, I can't be with you live in the virtual session because of Gaelic football. My 13-year-old son's team has qualified for a county final, and unfortunately, it has been scheduled to clash with this event. Given your interest in Irish studies, I'd like to recommend to you the English comedian John Bishop's recent TV series on Ireland, in which he references Gaelic football as being the perfect expression of Irishness, describing it as a blend of football, by which he means soccer, rugby, and grievous bodily harm. Rugby is not an indigenous sport. It's a sport that, until quite recently, might have been perceived as Protestant, English, elitist, described as a game for hooligans played by gentlemen. But it is also a game which, through its values, as very nicely described by Justin Hickey, and other outlets for expression and entertainment, is a really good fit for the Irish mentality. Go Irish! Unlike all of the other participants, I'm not an expert in the area of Irish studies. I'm not a historian. I'm not a rugby expert. But arising out of my research interest in French cultural studies, I gave a conference paper in 2012 entitled Connacht Rugby and the French Connection in the Professional Era, focusing on how outside of Ireland and in France, in this particular case, Connacht has become synonymous with its professional rugby team. As you were no doubt aware, the University of Notre Dame, a very powerful symbol of Irish America, has its own very significant French connections also. That paper prompted me to look at Connacht Rugby's fight for survival when threatened with disbandment by its parent body, the IRFU, in 2003, in the context of a 2014 conference on the theme of sport and protest. And when my friend and colleague, Dr. Eamon O'Cuffey, and I were co-authoring this article, we sought to provide the skeleton of a theoretical framework for the history, story of Connacht Rugby and its significance in not just the sporting, but also the economic, social and cultural fabric of life in the west of Ireland. So the interest of this article to you may be that it provides an opportunity to discover and understand aspects of the west of Ireland through the prism of sport and the case study of rugby in Connacht. The article draws attention to how the history of rugby in Connacht and the history of the province itself provide many common denominators. Professor Rappel has discussed the historical significance of the diktat to Heather to Connacht, and we reference the anthems and the fields of Athenry in that historical context also. The text, the words of both songs could very usefully form the basis of a guided tutorial in significant dates, moments, and events in Irish history. Connacht is the smallest, least populated, and most disadvantaged of the Irish provinces economically, socially, and in terms of infrastructure. Connacht Rugby, or rugby in Connacht, traditionally existed on the periphery, on the margins of the Irish rugby landscape also, and as such was a ready-made signifier of provincial identity. Just by way of an aside, the IRFU is a 32-county all-island governing body, and the provinces correspond to the ancient provinces of Connacht, Munster, Leinster and Ulster, even though Ulster, the 9-county province, incorporates the 6 counties of Northern Ireland. Drawing on the narrative and the dynamics of the 2003 protest, the fight for the right to exist, as Gavin Duffy in a recorded piece for this workshop put it, and the demand for parity of esteem provide both a foundation myth and an important memory site for the organisation. The campaign to save Connacht Rugby in January 2003 very successfully conflated regional rugby franchise with provincial space and both territorial and moral integrity. As presaged in both the West's Asleep and the Fields of Athenry, Connacht rugby since then has not just endured and survived, but has triumphed over adversity and prospered in the years since that near-death experience of January 2003. Some standout examples are the Pro 12 win in 2016, described as an incredible journey from the depths of despair to the top of the pile. And also, no one can quite believe how the most put-upon rugby team of them all has become the beating heart of the West. Other examples, of course, are the exciting and ambitious stadium development plans, but also the success of the grassroots to green shirts mission statement to provide a pathway of excellence for our best rugby players, male and female, into the national team. So both Bundy Aki and Robbie Henshaw have been named to start in the centre for the Lions against South Africa this coming Saturday. And Bevan Parsons is the up-and-coming and soon-to-be superstar of Irish rugby. Jettisoning the tag of victim and underdog and embracing a sense of separateness and difference has served to articulate a new and alternative expression of Connacht rugby as a representation of a place, its history, and its people. Thank you. I apologise once again for not being with you to participate in the discussion, and I hope you enjoy this and the following instalments in the Kylemore Book Club series. Slán agus Beannacht.